Hello, hello, hello. It's Tuesday and I'm a whisker early so that we can get all the gadgets doing what they need to do so that I can start on time, which is always a good thing, isn't it? So hopefully we can get all of the things doing their appropriate things and we can connect. Yeah, who's with me already? Make sure you say where you're watching from. There we go. We are ready. Yay, look at that. Oh, I love it when a plan comes together. Okay, as I said, a whisker early today, but I have some fun techniques and I'm going to use a lot of them on this glass mat. So I love this new glass mat. It's a really cool tool to use. It's just a great stamping platform, whether you're using the cling stamps or the polymer stamps, it doesn't matter. This works really well. When you get it, it comes with protective corners if you want to transport it. Mine just sits on my desk all the time, so I don't have to move it. But it's really nice. It has both centimetre and inch measurements on it, so depending on whether you like centimeters or inches, you can use both for that. So again, another nice thing about it, as I said, mine sits on my desk all the time, and I'm going to show you some other ways that you can also use it and the reason that I like it. Okay, so the card I'm going to use today, we're going to use Elements of Text, which is this stamp set. You've seen me use it. I love it. All three different images, plus you've got some splatters. I love a splatter. I really do. It just adds that little bit of something. It really does. And then I'm also going to use the arches. So these are the everyday arches. They had a stamp set that matched them. The nice thing is there is a second stamp set coming out at the beginning of May, which also coordinates with this. I showed you a layout that I made with Hayes some months ago, and I used the arches and I stamped on it. But there is an upcoming stamp set which also coordinates with these dies that will be available after May 6th. And that's what I love about Stampin' Up! Is they'll bring out multiple stamp sets to match a set of dies. Super useful. You've got so many different sizes. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different dies. This particular stamp, I'm using the second to biggest die. So that's the die I will be using on the card. And then I'm also coordinating it. We're just mixing and matching stamp sets today because I really like it. We're using the mixed florals. I love this stamp set. Look at the little ladybugs. Super cute. And then you've got florals and leaves, and then again another little bunch of flowers. And again, I use this stamp set on some more artwork that I created a couple of months ago. Still available. I believe it's last chance, so get it while you can. So this is a stamp set and it has matching dies, and you know I love a good die set. Now, if you want to use scissors, you absolutely could to cut around this stamped image, but I like all the coordinating dies that come with it. So this die matches this one, and then this die matches this big one. Here's your leaf die. Here is that smaller die that matches this cluster, and then all of these little ladybugs match the three ladybugs here, and you've got multiple of each one, so it means you can cut out multiple ladybugs. You can have an infestation of ladybugs if you wanted to. So I've gone ahead and I've pre-cut a lot of them. So this is the die that coordinates with it. This is the bonus die that you're going to get with this set, and I've already cut out my cardstock, and I've cut out two pieces. I've cut it out in the soft sea foam and also in the old olive, so because I'm going to use both colors. Okay, so I've cut it out a couple of times, and as I build up my card, I might even use multiple dies on my card. I'm going to just sit and play by ear and see how this looks, because I think it needs a little bit of the dark green, but I want a lot of that light green so it doesn't get too heavy. We'll build on it. This is going to be one of my cards where I just add stuff and take it from there. So that's the dies. I did put it in this post, the title of this post, what we're going to do. All right, so I'm also going to, I've already pre-cut my second largest die. You can see here it is. So that's the second largest one. And I'm going to use one of the stamping spots. Now, you know that the stamping spots come in all of the Paper Pumpkin, which are the subscriptions, but they also come in the kits as well. Any of the card kits that require stamping has a stamping spot. Did you also know that there are blank stamping spots that you can use with the re-inkers, and you can then have whatever stamping spot you like? So if you particularly liked pecan pie, or if you liked pool party, you could create your own custom stamping spot. So this grey granite came in a kit. You've seen me do this before. We're going to do it again. I'm going to do it on a piece of scratch paper, because you cannot do this with your regular classic ink pads. These are too juicy. They're also foam based, so they're too squishy, and you end up with great big smears. I just want it to be very delicate, so I'm going to take my stamping spot, because it's a linen and felt blend. I'm going to start on my scrap paper, I'm going to end on my scrap paper, and I'm just coming down really lightly, and then that will give me that wood grain effect that I'm looking for. Just a very soft, you can overlap it if you want to. You can build up the colour if you want to. Just adds that little bit of texture to the background. That's as simple as that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 times to cover that cardstock. So you can see the difference between a regular basic white piece and then where it has that wood grain effect on it. Do you like that? Give me some hearts, give me some loving if you like that. And I'm going to see if I can get some comments coming across. And as I say, always share where you're watching from. Okie dokie. So let's build up this card, because some of it I've done ahead of time just to keep this a little bit quicker. So you can see that I've taken some of the Petal Pink cardstock, and using that elements of text, I've already gone on with this die here, this stamp set here rather, this stamp here, and I have stamped on the words in these 2 areas, and I've just attached it to a regular card front. Okay, I'm hoping that you can see that. Let me just come up onto the camera. Let me just stand up and you can see it. Okay, so my comments are not coming up on my iPad at all, so I will say hello to everybody as you watch it. So I am hoping that you can see that stamping that I have on there. It's difficult for me to see in this light right now. I'm not going to put any more than that on it, because once I've got my arch on there, you'll just be able to see a little bit in the background. I don't want a huge amount. Okay, so let me get rid of this to one side. I'm just going to fold it so it's a little bit smaller to make it more useful. Okay, so I have gone ahead and I have stamped up using that stamp set, that mixed media stamp set. Let me just bring it back on the camera again so you can see it, and I'll move that out of the way. We're moving things around, okay? Just, there's a lot of pieces tonight. Okay, so I've already stamped up this stamp set, and I've used the StazOn ink. Now, StazOn is a jet black ink. It's a solvent ink. It's quick drying. Unfortunately, it is on back order, or it's currently unavailable. It will be back in stock during May. So this is what I have used, and I've used this large stamp here. Now, if I bring that die set back on the camera again, you will see that it will just cut out an outline. Hang on, let me get it the right way up. It's upside down. No, I do have it no, I don't. There we go. All right. So that is the die. And you're going to say, well, Sarah, there's a piece missing here. Yes, because I cut it off on purpose, because I want to put another die in there. So I did that with my scissors. But you can also see that there are pieces cut here and here. So let me flip it over and explain what I've done and why I've done it. So I took my scissors and I came in and I just trimmed out this area here. And again with my scissors, and cut out some of the white. Why? Because I want some of that background to show through the holes, okay? Now you can see on this section here, the cardstock is still there, and I'm hoping you can see it if I hold it up. So this piece of cardstock is still here. I'm going to use, because I can't get at it with my scissors easily, I'm going to use my Take-A-Pick tool. And I have the blade on it, and I'm going to show you how easy it is. And I'm going to cut on this glass surface. It is strong enough that I can use my craft, and this is just a craft knife blend, and I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to press down against the glass, and I'm just going to cut out that section there. And I like to go through it once for a start, and then I will just come in over those lines a second time. And you can actually feel the glass beneath your blade, so you know that you've cut it all the way through. There we go, and that piece is gone. So can you see what a difference that makes by just trimming out those little areas? So pretty. Okay, so that's another way you can use your glass mat. Now, I've just taken the lid off. Okay, here we go. It's the Can You See My? The top of my blade. It's here somewhere. We'll just put it there. Oh, there it is. It's because it's clear. Make sure you put the lids back on. They're super sharp. Okay, so I'm going to bring in a piece of kitchen towel because, you know, I want to use that. Now, I'm going to use my glass mat to use with my water brush. Now, you can just squish your ink pads together like I usually do, and then when you open it, it transfers the ink to your palette, from your pad to your palette, and you can pick up the ink there. Now, not everybody likes to do that. They don't, especially if you're using the shimmer brush to paint with, which you know that you can either use the water painters or you can use the Wink of Stella. Now, you can see, if I don't know whether you can you see here on my ink pad, I have some of the Wink of Stella on my ink pad. I can see it here. You might not be able to on camera. So that is the risk you run. If you've used the Wink of Stella or the water brush in here, you can dilute your ink pad. So another way to do it is just to put some ink onto your glass mat. Okay, now I can pick up with my water painter, I can put some water down, and I can now pick up, and I've got a big palette that I can see what I'm doing, and I'm just going to very lightly water brush. I am not being careful with this. I don't need it to be absolutely perfect. Okay, you can build up the colour on these as much as you like. In some darker areas, you can bring in some darker colours where it would be in the shade. You can always have a scratch piece of paper next to you. So because if you pick up the ink as it is without diluting it, look how dark it is. And then if you add a bit more water, it comes in a little bit lighter. And then you can absolutely water it down by adding more water to it, so it's very light. So you can see the range of colours that you can get. I like to sometimes dab it onto my paper just to check and see what colour it's going to be when it comes out. And I'm just going to very quickly shade in these leaves. Okay, you can go back in and move that ink around a little bit, and it means that when I'm ready to finish painting, I'm just going to spray some cleaner on it, and let's have these stems a little bit darker. Okay, we'll bring that down, and then we'll have that one a little bit lighter here. And you can see I'm not being careful. Oh, we want a dark stem again for this tulip. Coming down, and again I'll pick up a little bit of a darker colour just to make them stand out a little bit. And as I said, just squish some more water in. You can wipe it clean using just a Kleenex if you wanted to. You could use the kitchen towel. You could use a wet wipe if you wanted to, or something like that. But honestly, so you could use spray cleaner if you wished. The choice is yours. Okay, let's have this leaf a little bit darker. Now, that when you're using a water painter, the only thing you've got to be careful is just don't get it too wet, and try not to go over the same area over and over again. If you do, you'll find that your your cardstock will buckle. So I'm just going to move that out of the way. I'm just going to squirt it with a little bit of my Stampin' Mist. Hang on, let me move that out of the way before it falls over on the artwork. And we'll just wipe it up. Okay, we're just going to squish the water out of my water painter till it's completely clean. We don't want any more green ink in that water painter. You can see it's completely clear. Now I can pick up my next colour. All right, let's bring in some fresh freesia and we'll do a little bit of that. And obviously the darker the colour, the ink, the more pigmented it is, you can really play with those different shades. On some of the lighter colours, it makes it a little bit harder, just because it's you don't need to dilute it as much because it doesn't have the same pigment in there. But with these lighter colour, with the darker colours, you can get lots of different shades. And as you can see, I'm colouring in flowers here, there and everywhere, and the more water I add to it, the lighter it is. And even if you don't come in and add any more water, you'll find that as the ink washes out of the brush, you're going to get some lighter shades. So if you don't have enough ink, you can always add some more in. I like that a lot. Here's the piece that I cut off. I just wanted, because it's a slightly different shape, I just thought out it gives us some options of moving it around and putting it somewhere else on the card, because it's going to be one of those. I need a little bit more ink, so I just wipe the water off because I don't want to add water to my pad. Obviously you can always add more ink, or some more water to the ink. You can't take water off an ink pad, if that makes sense. I do like this. So this is Fresh Freesia, and I'm combining it with Calypso Coral and Petal Pink, and then the greens I'm using are Soft Sea Foam and Old Olive. Okay, so we've got 5 different colours around. So can you see the difference in shades in that? Super pretty. Okay, again, let's wipe up this ink and we can go on to our next colour. So I'm going to be using 2 colours for this one. I'm going to be using the Calypso Coral, which is a super strong colour, and then we're going to use some Petal Pink as well. And I'm going to move those in different places, and I'm going to may even blend them together. They are almost the lighter and darker shade of the same colour. The Calypso Coral seems to have a little bit more of the red in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, add some water, because I want some of these tulips to be lighter, just at the top, almost like they haven't come out properly. And then I'm going to move some of the Calypso Coral in with the Petal Pink to give it more of that pink tinge, so it sort of graduates down. Now, if you've got the Stampin' Blends, which are an alcohol-based marker, you could probably get a similar effect with that, but I like doing it with watercolour. I really do. And then we're going to come right in with a full strength. Still going to dilute it with a lot of water because this is a strong pigmented ink, and I can bring it up over the top. Let's add a bit more of that colour in and move it around. Oh my gosh, these tulips are so pretty. I wish you could see what I can see on camera, because videoing it through a gadget and then you watching it through a gadget, you just don't get the full color. I'm going to hold this tulip up in a minute up to the camera. Let's just make sure we've got no traces of ink on there. I'm busy prepping for Mega Meet this week, so I have white cardstock everywhere, so I sure as heck don't need color on it. But look how pretty those tulips are. Do you see that graduation in color? It's such a pretty image. It really is. Okay, let's put some of this together. So you can see where I built up the different colors of green by picking up those different shades. So if you don't have all the Stampin' Blends, but you have an ink pad, it's going to work. So we're going to lay this on here. Now let's have a look and see at these leaves, because we have the 3 leaves. So I definitely want some of this. I almost want it to look like grass coming up behind it. Okay, and I know, oh, I like that, but I think it does need some of that in the middle. No, I don't think it does. I don't think it needs that colour. It's now I've actually painted it. I think it's too dark. But I do like that. Okay, so how we're going to attach this, I'm going to use some of my multi-purpose glue. Well, let's get the one that's open. And somewhere, currently disguised as something totally different, is my mat, my silicone mat. Now, I have put this on the glass mat. I don't recommend it. It comes off, yes, but it's a pain in the butt. If you have the silicone mat, it just rubs straight off and it's super easy to remove. So in this case, I'm going to actually I'm just going to put a squidge onto my scrap paper. You know my trick of just touching the dies because they're so delicate and so detailed. And of course, I've got it onto my glass mat already. So just going to touch it into the glue, and then I am going to make it shorter than my card because I'm putting it at an angle. All right, so here we go with this one. We'll just tap it into that adhesive. Okay, beautiful. And again, I'm putting it at an angle, bringing it down just a little bit. Now I do want to make sure that it's going to fit on my card, so we need to angle this one because it's 4 1/4. Okay, I think this one might just hang off a whisker, but so be it. So be it. Now there's a reason that I have made those overhang because, like I said, they're at an angle. So I would have a gap in the center where if I kept them to their correct size. So I'm just going to take my paper snips and just trim them off level with the edge of that arch, like that. And suddenly we have the cutest grass ever. Okay, Stampin' Dimensionals, yes, for days on this one. We're going to pop this up. Now, just be aware, you've just added, or I've just added, you will have done if you create this card as well, a whole heap of water to this cardstock. And even though it might feel dry to the touch, it is not by any stretch of the imagination. It's dry on the surface, but the fibers in the card are still damp. So just be careful with what you're doing, all right? Treat it gently. Be kind to your cardstock. And you know, I love the edge of these sheets because you end up with some skinny bits that fit really nicely up into the tops of the leaves. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to peel the ones off at the bottom for a start. And we are going to just work our way up the card carefully, trying not to bend the cardstock because it is damp, like I said. I love this colour combination. I really do. Oh, these tulips. So because I cut through my die cut, you can see the grass through the holes, which I absolutely love. And let's see where I'm going to put, yes, and we're going to put 3D foam tape on these. Oh, that one's a bit big. So we'll use a skinny bit from the side to put on it. Do you like this colour combination? So this is Fresh Freesia with the colour. And again, I'm just going to dip this into my adhesive that I've still got left on my... Oh, there's not a lot left on there, actually. It dries very quickly. It really does. So we'll just put a little dot on there. Take the backing off. And we'll glue it to that, but we'll have it popped up. There's going to be lots of dimension on this one. All right. I'm going to put a larger one up there. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Stampin' Dimensionals. I know I still refer to it as 3D foam tape because it is. It's 3D, but... it is Stampin' Dimensionals, and it fits really nicely in with that image that I've already got. I just want to tuck that in a little bit more. Yes, 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 yes. So I wanted it to be taller. It wasn't going to be long enough. I do have one more left, which I'm not sure. Oh, I didn't colour that little flower in. I don't know whether I need that. We might add some of that in a minute. Let me just put the lid on the glue and then I know where it is. All right, before we go any further, let's add some ribbon. So we're going to take the adhesive. If I was adhesive, oh, Sarah. Again, I have been cutting cardstock all day for almost a week, all day, every day for almost a week. So everything has been moved out of the way. So this is the Petal Pink ribbon. Again, you might find that it is temporarily unavailable. So if you go to the website and something comes up and it says currently unavailable, it means that it's out of stock, but it will be back. Okay, if it comes up part number not recognized, it means that it's gone. If it tells you that there's a low inventory, you better get on it and get it before it runs out, right? So talking of running out, the catalogs are almost done. But the fun thing is, who loves their new Stampin' Rewards system? Me. What is Stampin' Rewards? Okay, when you opt in and you place an order, a qualifying order, anything over $20, you're going to earn 10% back. And on May 2nd and 3rd, there is going to be double Stampin' Rewards. Yes, so look, do you love my little cheap bow? So by wrapping it round and then just adding a small piece to tie on the front, it means that it looks like the ribbon goes all the way around the back when it actually doesn't. So you're not wasting adhesive. Do you love that little trick? It's one of my little tricks. Okay, here we go. So where's my card base? Here it is. Oh, look how pretty that is. Isn't that fun? I think I'm going to send this card to my mama for her birthday. Her birthday's in June, but I think this would be so cute to send it her. Now, this little leaf sticks over. I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to snip it off level with the card, and it still looks like grass. Actually, I should have turned it over and cut it that side and followed the edge of the card. It would have been a cleaner cut. There we go. You get a more precise cut if you cut from the back. Look how pretty that card is. Okay, gems. I got the gems out, so I have a choice. I can't decide between these gems. These are the holographic resin dots, which I'm obsessed with right now, and I've used them a lot, as you can see. And those are 165598. Or these, which are 162758, and these are the rainbow adhesive back gems, which I think I'm going to use because there's a purple one in here, which would be kind of fun. There's almost like this Calypso coral, because there's a lot of green on here, and I think these are too green, but I do love them, right? So I could bring in some of these Calypso coral. I could also bring in some of the lilac, but I'm not loving the lilac, and we don't want the orange ones. I think I'm going to go with these coral colour. Okay, so here is my pickup tool, which we love, right? So let's put a few of these, and we're going to really push them down. And here's my trick for doing it. Use the end of your tool, because it's a flat end, to push them down onto your cardstock, especially if it's not quite flat. Now, do I like this lilac one here? No, I don't. When you're going with one colour, don't confuse the issue, Sarah. So yes, as I was saying, double Stampin' Rewards on May 2nd and 3rd. So hold fire for your order, and remember that these current catalogues will retire on May 5th, and the new products come out May 6th. Okay, and I know some of you have already seen some of them on other people's websites and not on mine. I know. You just have to be patient. I want you to have something to look forward to. So you're not going to see any artwork created by me just yet. I do like this piece, but I don't think it needs to go there. Oh, look, there you go. It needs to go there. Now I've got my gems on. I love it like that, but now I have my gems on, I can see that it will fit there beautifully. So these are, as I say, the rainbow adhesive back gems. Super cute. 162758. Love them. Love them. Okay, 3D foam tape. StampinDimensionals.com. Okay, I hope you'll love it. I hope you do like my Technique Tuesday classes, and I am uploading them to YouTube where I can. So make sure you check out my YouTube channel. I do have one. There we go. Oh, look how pretty that is. And it looks like that little gem is coming out from underneath. Love it. Okay, let's come in with Wink of Stella. Because, of course, I'm making sure I haven't painted anything else with them. Because I do use them to paint with. Just like I use my water painters, I also use my Wink of Stella to paint with. Come on. Oh, this is a brand new one. Okay, we just needed to get some through. Okay, I'm going to come in and I'm just going to colour in. Oh, that's very wet. Let's just take some of that wetness off. Okay. This is super wet. That's why I'm going over some of them. And just adding a little bit of glitter, just a little bit of shimmer. So we've got the shimmer from the Wink of Stella. We've got the water painting. We've got the dyes. We've got the tone-on-tone background. That's what that's called when you've got the same colour ink on the same colour cardstock. We have I use the ink spot in the background to create the wood grain, and then the water painters to actually colour. And we had the colours, the two colours of ink, and then the blended colour in the centre. We've got the gems. We've used the different shades of the same colour ink by mixing more or less water with the ink on our glass mat. We used the glass mat with the pickup tool to cut out the areas so that we could see the background through it. And I think that's it. So I hope you love this little card as much as I do, because I'm thrilled with it. I think it's gorgeous. I hope it encourages you to head over to the Last Chance, because Last Chance items, when they're gone, and make sure you're taking advantage of that. And then double stamping rewards May 2nd and 3rd at sarahbatkin.stampinup.net. That's where you'll find me and all of my fabulosity. So I will see you next Tuesday at 7 o'clock, hopefully, because it'll be 2 days before Mega Meet, so it's going to be a little bit frantic. So hopefully I'm going to have another fun creation for you next week. So join me then, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.